If you've been cold calling for a while, you know that oftentimes you'll get hit with objections more times than you can book a meeting without hearing one. But what if I told you that 90% of objections follow the same patterns? And so if you can understand and recognize these patterns, you'll know what to say, how to say it, and how to turn those objections into booked meetings. Would you believe me? In this video, I'll break down the simple 3-step framework we use to turn any cold call objection into real conversations. Let's dive in. Okay, before we even get to the framework, it is very important that you understand why objections happen in the first place. Put yourself in your prospect's shoes for a second. If your prospect is a high-level executive, they're not just waiting around and waiting for you to call them. So if you're cold calling them, it is an interruption to their day. So when you hear objections like, I'm not interested, or just send me an email, 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with your product. Their objection is just a natural reaction to your interruption. That is why, just like the way you memorize your scripts, your openers, you need a go-to game plan for handling objections. And that's exactly what we're going to break down. This 3-step framework to overcome any cold call objection is called the A.I.M framework. It stands for acknowledge, incentivize plus isolate, and maneuver. The goal is simple. You want to re-aim the focus of the conversation to move it forward. Many reps think of objections as a dead end or as a rejection. But instead, I like to think of objections as a small pothole that you can maneuver around and keep the conversation moving forward. So here's how it works. First, acknowledge the objection. This is to reduce any tension there is and shows that you're actively listening. So you can say phrases like, totally get that you're not interested, or completely understand, it sounds like, and then you just repeat whatever they said to you. We'll go more in depth with examples later. I stands for incentivize plus isolate, and this has 2 parts. Incentivize a benefit and isolate for the actual reason behind their objection. So to incentivize a benefit, this will disarm them and get them more likely to answer you truthfully. This is done by usually starting with just so, for example, just so no one calls you again, or just to ensure this is relevant for you. Then the second part is isolate for the actual reason behind their objection. And you would do this by asking questions to learn more about their situation. And I like to give 2 to 3 options, and they can pick and choose that best describes them in that moment. So I could say something like, is it because you're already doing X, or is Y just not a priority? And then finally, step 3, maneuver the conversation around the response and dig deeper to see if there's any pain points that your solution can solve. So now they no longer have a wall up. You're not just talking to a wall. It's now a 2-way conversation. So now let's look at 8 total objections and put this framework into action. The most common objection is I'm not interested. So first we would acknowledge, yeah, totally get that you're not interested. You probably call me if you were. Incentivize. So just so I understand your situation better, isolate. Is it because you're already outsourcing this to another team, or are you just fully booked for the month? Let's say they respond with, we're just fully booked for the month. Then when you maneuver the conversation, you can ask a question directed at that response. Something like, got it. So it sounds like you're at capacity for the month. If you needed more work next month, would you be opposed to having a conversation about that? Now, obviously, this is just an example, so make sure you tailor every single response to your prospect's answers. Second common objection is send me an email. Now I'm going to apply this framework in one response just so you can see how this plays out. So prospect says, send me an email. Yeah, that's not a problem. I can send you that email right away. But just to ensure that this email is relevant, are you currently focused on getting new leads, or are you focused on improving your team's closing rates? So let's say they respond with getting new leads. I see. So it sounds like getting new leads is important to your business. I'm just curious though. Are you just not getting enough customers at the moment? So now you see how this can open the door to a conversation. And this is the same framework that we're going to apply across all these objections. Next objection, I'm busy or I'm in a meeting. My apologies. I know I'm calling you out of the blue, but just so I don't disrupt you again with another call, while you're here, would it be best if I call you back later, or would you want to give me 20 seconds now? And then you can decide whether or not I should even call you back. If they say, okay, you got 20 seconds, you can just go into a brief pitch about your solution, and then you can try to secure a follow-up or a booked meeting. Next, we're already using competitor. Yeah, that's fair. It sounds like competitor is handling this for you right now. But just so I don't waste your time and that I'm understanding this correctly, are you currently happy with everything that they're doing, or do you feel like there's some areas that they're falling short in? If they respond with, yeah, we're mostly happy, but the reporting is kind of clunky, you can say, got it. So many of our clients said the same thing about that competitor. If there was a way to keep everything you like about competitor while solving that reporting issue, would you be open to seeing how we do things differently? Hey, if you're getting value so far, we'd appreciate your support if you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It will keep us motivated to keep pumping out quality videos every week. Now let's get back to the video. Next, this isn't a priority right now, or call me back next quarter. Yeah, I totally understand if timing isn't ideal right now. Just so I don't reach out at the wrong time again, is it because you're currently focused on other priorities? Or is this something your team isn't focused on this year at all? And if they say this isn't something they're focused on, totally fair. Is it because you already feel like you have this covered? Or has this never been a major need for your team? Again, the goal here is to dig deeper until you can uncover some real pain points about their situation and use that to see whether or not you can help them. Have a real conversation with these prospects and really try to understand their situation. Hopefully by now you can start to recognize why this framework is so powerful and you can learn how to apply it across any objection you get. We don't have the budget or it's too expensive. Totally understand. Sounds like budget's a little bit tight right now and I don't want to waste your time. Just so I don't completely write this off as a bad fit, is it more that there's genuinely no room left in the budget for this quarter? Or are you just not sure whether the ROI would justify the spending? If they say, yeah, we just can't justify spending that much right now. Gotcha. So hypothetically speaking, if we could show you how we can bring in an extra 10 to 15 qualified sales meetings per month to your team, would this be something you'd consider reallocating budget for? I need to talk to my boss or it's not my responsibility. Totally my fault. I probably didn't get a chance to speak to the right person in charge yet. Just so I don't call the wrong person, do you know if this is something your boss handles entirely or is there a better contact I should be speaking with? If they say my boss handles this entirely, got it. Thanks for that. Do you mind if I mention we had a brief conversation just so they know I'm not completely coming out of the blue? And this is key because now your next call with that decision maker would now feel like a warm outreach. And lastly, where did you get my number? Yeah, good question. I know I'm totally calling you out of the blue. And we actually got your info from Prospeo, the best data provider on the market. And just so you'll never hear from us again, is it more that you're not the right person for handling XYZ? Or you just hate taking cold calls? If they say, yeah, I'm the right person, but I just hate taking cold calls, you can say, yeah, honestly, I hate making cold calls myself, but I try to keep them brief. Do you mind, now that you're here, giving me 20 seconds to explain why I called? And then you let me know if this is worth discussing. If not, you'll never hear from me again. And there you have it. That's how you use the A.I.M framework to overcome every cold call objection there is. Give this framework a try and let me know in the comments if this has worked for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.